So thank you, Kim. The next person who will be speaking is Paul Bradley from ROC USA, and he'll be speaking to us about resident-owned communities. Paul?
Thank you, Patrick. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to join you from Concord, New Hampshire. I hope everyone's doing well through all of the difficulties that we all face, really for the last 6 months. Happy to join you, as I said, and happy to bring two co-op leaders from the New England region who've led large cooperatives here, and happy to be introducing them momentarily. I'll take just a moment and give you a little bit of context in terms of resident-owned communities or cooperative manufactured home communities from around the country. There are probably 20 or so states in the country with resident-owned communities that are cooperatives. The largest state, in fact, would be Florida, where there's a very substantial number of communities, close to 750. And those are all market rate manufactured home communities with very large membership fees. It's really different than the rest of the country, where you see limited equity housing co-ops, as Kim described, with low share values. And that's what ROC USA focuses on. We only support and work with co-ops that are limited equity because our objective is that every homeowner in the community is able to afford a share in the co-op and become a voting member of the co-op. What happens when shares get too expensive is some people can afford them and others can't. And then you have a bifurcated community. Some people voting because they're a homeowner and a shareholder, and some people with no vote because they're effectively renting their lot from the co-op. And that kind of misalignment or different interest creates a lot of conflict. By having a low-cost share co-op, a limited equity co-op, everyone can afford to join, and eventually you'll get to 100% membership. And then everyone's voting with aligned interest. And it really matters. When everybody is a homeowner, owns one share in the co-op and has one vote in the co-op, then they're voting based on aligned interests. And it's meaningful. And I know this firsthand from witnessing limited equity co-ops and firsthand from talking with a lot of homeowners, members in market rate co-ops in Florida. So there are about 1,000 resident-owned communities in the country. About a quarter of those are part of ROC USA Network. ROC USA Network is a network of nonprofit organizations, including CCCD in California, that support resident-owned communities. The network started in New Hampshire back in 1984, and I joined working with these co-ops in 1988. And I've spent my entire career working with resident-owned communities. I do so because it really matters. I see it time and again. One of the earliest co-ops in New Hampshire, Greenville Estates, close to 200 homes, paid off their last financing and now live mortgage-free. That is just thrilling to see. That's a very affordable community, well-kept community, and housing values are very strong there, as you would expect. I'm going to take a minute and part of my time and actually show a video because it'll introduce you to a couple of more co-ops in our network. And it'll also introduce you to, you'll hear MetLife and National Co-op Bank several times in the video. They co-finance manufactured home community co-ops with ROC USA Capital, which is the financing arm of ROC USA, as Kim had introduced. That is a specialized lender that only lends to limited equity manufactured home community co-ops, as our network only serves these types of co-ops as well. We're basically scaling and have been for the last 12 years scaling this model around the country. We're currently supporting co-ops in 17 states across the country, including Oregon and Washington to your north, and Utah and Colorado to your east. So I'm just gonna take 1 second here. Oops. Need to do 2 things with my screen and then hit the play button. Oops. Let's see here. And try that one more time. Thank you for your patience.
I'm the president of ROC USA. ROC USA's reason for being is to help homeowners gain security of the land under their homes. As renters of the land, homeowners face 3 basic risks: excessive rent increases, poor quality infrastructure, and the biggest risk of all, community closure, where homeowners are displaced. So since 1984, homeowners have been organizing co-ops and purchasing their communities and becoming resident-owned communities.
This is the gateway to Glacier National Park in northern Montana. Nearby is the booming town of Kalispell, and inside it is this resident-owned community.
This is Green Acres Cooperative. I've lived here for 8 years, and I just really enjoy living here. So in 2008, I got a call one evening and my husband had collapsed at our home in a cardiac arrest. We eventually lost our home and ended up at Green Acres. It's affordable. It can't be sold out from underneath me, and my family is safe and secure here.
In the Flathead Valley, our rents have really skyrocketed in the last 5 years or so. So living in a manufactured home community, you are a homeowner, you have that pride of ownership, and if you're in a resident-owned cooperative, you have the pride of ownership in your entire community.
One of the inherent challenges in manufactured home communities or mobile home parks is people have 50 and 60-year-old images of what manufactured housing, or at the time, trailers, represent. And the fact of the matter is that the product, the homes, have evolved tremendously.
Society itself really judges mobile homes, parks, and owners of mobile homes. And we experienced that ourselves when we were purchasing our home. We were going to throw a housewarming party, and I had friends say, why would you throw a housewarming party when you're just buying a trailer? But once people come into the community and they come into our house, they just fall in love with it. Come on in, let me show you my house. This is our master room. And in here is our master bath. My husband did the mosaic around the tub for me. And this is our living room and kitchen, and I love how open it is. When you're a renter, whether it be a park or a home, there's always that chance that that could be taken away from you. And when you own your own place and you are part of the co-op, you don't have to worry about that happening.
Homeowners that get together in a co-op really face 3 basic barriers to becoming a resident-owned community. First is just the opportunity itself that community owners provide to homeowners to go through the process of acquiring the property.
Well, if somebody asked me about selling to the community like I did, I would highly recommend it. I mean, it gives me a good feeling that I was able to help in some way. 2
is access to the training and education and the technical assistance, both pre-purchase as well as post-purchase.
When working with new potential communities or communities that are up for sale, we visit with the community members and let them know what the plus sides of becoming a cooperative are.
One of the key assets that ROC USA provides to homeowners in communities, of course, is access to capital. We help low and moderate income homeowners act like deep-pocketed investors. In order for us to do that, we really have to be aligned with larger institutional lenders. The National Co-op Bank and MetLife represent that to ROC USA Capital. We're here today in Taunton, Massachusetts at Colonial Estates and Oak Hill. Both of these communities were financed by ROC USA Capital in partnership with the National Co-op Bank and MetLife to deliver really competitive financing to help make both purchases possible.
I moved in here in 2012, and then 2 years later, I retired. A month after that, they told us that the park was going to be sold, and Real? No. So I went and Googled, how do you buy a mobile home park? And up comes ROC USA. And they helped us purchase the park for $37 more. We could actually own and run our own park. We're here today to tell you about our park and how happy we are since we've purchased it.
I feel like, you know, we own the land and the property ourselves. And this way here, I don't feel, you know, like it can be taken away from us.
The best thing about living in a co-op is that my finances are easily more manageable here.
I've lived here for 36 years, and for the past 2 years that we own this place, I know the people, and I'm on a committee, so that makes me feel like part of them.
We've gotten to know each other better, we've gotten to know each other's names, and it's just, you know, it feels more like a family than just, you know, some neighbor down the street.
Once the homeowners have purchased the community, their long-term interest is in the affordability and in the quality of the community.
We found a home here located at Colonial Estates, and when we investigated and looking into it, we found out that the community was up for sale, and it was going to be a resident-owned community. The residents, they were afraid, and the community voted against that process. And then 3 years down the line, the opportunity came again, and they did make the decision to purchase the community.
I think it was a very good move. We have control of what goes on, the people that live here, because we own the place.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. Being resident-owned, it's run democratically, and that means that everyone here makes their own decisions together on what they want to do in the community.
We don't have to go to an owner that's, you know, thousands of miles away to get permission to do something.
All in favor? Aye. There's no need as a resident-owned community to make a profit. All we have to do is pay our bills. We have not had to increase our rent since we purchased the community, but we did make decisions that instead of putting Band-Aids on things where a large corporation would have done, is that we are actually repairing them properly. Colonial Estates as a community really is a community. People have taken pride in their homes. People have taken pride that they've actually purchased the properties.
We own the place. We're secure, we're safe, we're not going anywhere, and that's the nice part about it.
So the co-op model works so beautifully for this particular situation.
If someone were to ask me about becoming a co-op and if they were considering it, I would say do it.
The land under our homes cannot be sold out from underneath of us. That's extremely devastating to people. I've seen it happen.
And this gives people the opportunity to really have it all, affordability and home ownership.
Homeowners everywhere want the same basic thing. They want a decent community that's safe and secure and affordable. And when homeowners have the opportunity, we have proven time and again that we can provide the access to the resources, the training and education, and the financing to make that possible.
Great. That video and others are available on our website at rocusa.org. And you're welcome to visit the site. There's lots of other information there as well for aspiring cooperative owners. Also, apologies to the Giants and Dodgers fans for the Red Sox garb, but that's part and parcel of New England. So there you go.